Have you ever embarked on a diet only to abandon it a few weeks later, feeling defeated and disillusioned? You're not alone. Now, this saying implies that the breakfast we consume should be particularly filling and nutritious to fuel our bodies effectively for the day ahead. This perspective suggests that protein is a magical nutrient that can facilitate weight shedding without much effort on our part. But is there any truth to this claim? The answer is, you guessed it, it depends. High-protein diets have indeed gained popularity in recent years, with proponents touting their potential benefits for weight loss and overall health. Studies have shown that consuming a high-protein diet can lead to modest weight loss compared to a standard protein diet. A meta-analysis published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, for instance, found that increasing protein intake from 15 to 30% a day calories resulted in approximately 4 kilograms of weight loss over 12 weeks. However, it is essential to recognize that these findings don't necessarily imply a direct cause and effect relationship between high protein intake and weight loss. Several factors can influence the outcomes of these studies, including differences in energy intake, physical activity levels, and overall diet quality. Moreover, the long-term sustainability of high-protein diets can be challenging, as some individuals may struggle to meet their daily protein requirements or experience digestive discomfort or kidney strain. In fact, research suggests that individuals who adhere to very low carbohydrate, very low fat, or very low protein diets are less likely to sustain their weight loss over time. Ultimately, while incorporating more protein into one's diet can be beneficial for weight loss and overall health, relying on this single nutrient to facilitate weight shedding is unlikely to yield lasting results. A balanced approach that combines a moderate protein intake with a well-rounded diet and regular exercise is more likely to lead to sustainable weight management. But how much truth is there to this statement in the context of weight loss? The more we understand about weight loss, the better equipped we are to make informed choices that align with our goals. Don't forget to drop a like on this video if you found it valuable. Your support means the world to me. Share this video with someone who might benefit from this knowledge, and together we can spread awareness about effective weight loss strategies. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Until next time, stay curious and embrace a healthier tomorrow. Take care. As with the previous myth, the answer is that it depends. Proponents of this view often cite the belief that eating breakfast kickstarts our metabolism and sets the tone for our daily eating habit. They argued that a nutritious breakfast can help curb cravings and prevent overeating later in the day. Research has indeed found that breakfast consumption may help reduce calorie intake at subsequent meals. A study published in the Journal of the American College of Nutrition, for instance, showed that participants who ate breakfast consumed fewer calories at lunch compared to those who skipped breakfast. However, it's essential to recognize that causation doesn't necessarily flow in the direction implied by this correlation. Those who choose to eat breakfast may already have established healthier eating patterns, which could explain why they consume fewer calories at lunch rather than the other way around. Moreover, the concept of kickstarting metabolism is somewhat misleading. Our metabolic rate remains relatively consistent throughout the day and is influenced by various factors such as age, sex, and body composition rather than meal timing. In fact, research suggests that the effects of breakfast on metabolism are minimal. A study published in the International Journal of Obesity, for example, found no significant differences in the resting metabolic rates of participants based on whether or not they ate breakfast. Ultimately, while breakfast can be a convenient time to refuel after a night of fasting, it's far from the most important meal of the day in terms of weight loss. The decision to eat breakfast should be based on personal preference and hunger levels, and the content of our breakfast shouldn't differ significantly from the rest of our balanced diet. Navigating the world of diets and weight loss can be incredibly frustrating, especially when so much of the advice circulating is based on myths rather than facts. Many people blindly follow these misconceptions, often without questioning their validity. For example, the idea that you can eat unlimited amounts of healthy foods without consequences is a widespread but misleading belief. Similarly, the notion that skipping breakfast leads to weight gain has been perpetuated for years, despite evidence suggesting otherwise. These myths can derail progress and leave people feeling discouraged. To achieve sustainable weight loss, it's crucial to separate fact from fiction and understand the science behind these claims. That's exactly what we'll do in today's episode of Fact or Myth. So, let's start with a common belief. Eat breakfast like a king, lunch like a prince, and dinner like a pauper. This proverb suggests that the size and importance of our meals should decrease as the day progresses. But is there any truth to this adage in the context of weight loss? Well, the answer, as with many things related to nutrition, is that it depends. Numerous studies have indeed found correlations between breakfast consumption and lower body weight. However, the relationship between breakfast and weight isn't as straightforward as cause and effect. Some research indicates that individuals who regularly eat breakfast tend to have a lower body mass index and are more successful at losing weight compared to those who skip breakfast. This could be attributed to several factors, including increased adherence to a reduced calorie diet, greater self-control, and better dietary quality among breakfast eaters. Moreover, studies suggest that breakfast may help regulate circadian rhythms, potentially boosting metabolism and aiding weight management. However, this doesn't necessarily mean that breakfast directly causes weight loss. It's more likely that people who choose to eat breakfast tend to make healthier food and lifestyle choices overall, leading to better weight management. For example, they might be more likely to engage in regular physical activity or follow a balanced diet rich in fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. In fact, a study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that while participants who ate breakfast had a lower BMI, the difference was primarily driven by behavioral factors such as diet, quality, and physical activity rather than breakfast consumption per se. The study concluded that promoting breakfast specifically may not be the most effective strategy for weight loss. So while it's true that breakfast can play a role in weight management, the evidence isn't conclusive enough to deem it an absolute necessity for shedding pounds. The decision to eat breakfast should be based on individual preferences and hunger levels rather than a rigid rule. Ultimately, the key to successful weight loss lies in adopting a holistic approach that encompasses a balanced diet, regular exercise, and overall healthy lifestyle choices, not just breakfast consumption. Next, let's tackle the widely held belief that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Next, let us dive into the widely held belief that eating too much protein will automatically lead to weight loss. Remember, knowledge is power.